Kids, and today we are going to be making some quinoa. So quinoa, some people might not know what it is. If you don't know what it is, just go search it on Google. If you do know what it is, great, let's get into it. Now, before we start, I would just like to say that I am in a corner today. I'm in a different part of the kitchen. If you have seen my kind of like testing recipe, orange, banana, blueberry popsicle video, I'll put like an icon. It's gonna go up on either side. I don't know. I think what happens is the video mirrors it, and usually it goes up on the right side, but this might appear left to you, so it's most likely gonna come up on this side. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, so if you have seen that video, awesome. I am in a corner today, just like that video. And in that video, I really apologize because I was kind of facing this side because I had to like do this, and I was kind of like doing 360 turns and doing like all sorts of stuff to make sure that you guys could still see me and not just my back, and also see the food and what I'm doing. I'm gonna try my best to make sure that I'm facing you guys, not the tile wall and my food. I'm gonna see if I can try and make it so that you can see the food as much as possible, but there is no guarantee. Okay, there's no guarantee. I cannot guarantee it, but hopefully it works. So I just wanted to say that. Apologies in advance if I often am like this instead of like this or like this. So just wanted to let you guys know that. But I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the video. So I have some quinoa here. I have this is a measuring cup. This is just, it goes up to 2 cups. And then I also have the oven over here. Stove, oven, whatever you want to call it. And then I also have a pot. So this is actually all you need to make the quinoa. You only need, and you also need some water. So it's really, 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 really easy. So you want to make sure that since we're using the stove, you want to have some parental supervision. So if you haven't used the stove that much before, make sure that you have a parent or an older sibling helping you, so that way, just in case you get burnt, they can help you. So I'm going to pour 2 cups of quinoa. Now, this is a you have to multiply it by half. It's like I think it's a 1 to 1.5 ratio, but yeah, you have to multiply it by 1.5. So let's say I have 2 cups, I gotta multiply it by 1, which is 2, and then half of 2 is 1, plus add those together, you get 3. So I'm gonna need 3 cups of drinking filtered water when I cook it, when I wash it, which you will see soon. It's really just as long as it covers the quinoa and you can wash it, awesome. You're also going to need a strainer, which I just realized for washing it, and I will grab that once it's time to wash it. But I'm gonna pour 2 cups of this quinoa here. I'm just gonna pour this in, and then when you're washing it, you can either wash it 3 times, the 3rd time would be the last time, or you can wash it until the water is clear. Now, the water is not always it's not like gonna be 100% clear, even if you wash it 3 times. I just wash it 3 times, that's my standard. Wash it 3 times, put it on the stove. You, if you like, can wash it 4 times, 5 times if you want, but if you wash it till the water is clear, you're never going to have most likely you're never going to have clear water, because what might happen is the quinoa color is going to reflect on the water, and it's going to make it look dirty when it's clean water. So I recommend just washing it 3 times because that's kind of the standard. Okay, 1st time, 2nd time, third time, the water should be pretty clean. It shouldn't be like super dark or dirty or anything. So I'm gonna wash this 3 times, and then I will show you guys what to do when we put it on the stove. Okay, so I'm now over by the sink. Please excuse the dishes over there because those need to be dried and put away. But I want to show you guys the difference between these 2 strainers. Now, really when it comes to the spacing, this size spacing is nice. These 2 are the same size spacing. You don't want one with really big holes because then all your quinoa is going to go through and with your water will go through. So you just want this colander, this strainer. It's a big strainer. Now the difference between this, you can probably see, this has a handle, this doesn't, but you can kind of hold it right here. But the main difference is that this is bigger. This is smaller. So even if you have been making quinoa for a long time and you're really good at it, you're just watching this video for fun or to see how other people do it, I still recommend using this because I've been making quinoa for a little while, and even you're gonna end up spilling something with this. Even if one time, I don't spill anything with this. This is the safer option, and it's also really good. This option is also really good for beginners because if you have this, you're gonna what you might see. What will happen is this will sometimes just like plop down and it will catch you by surprise. Then this is much better because it's like literally as big as the pot, so there's barely any chance of any quinoa getting out. This, on the other hand, it's very tiny, and it's gonna be a little bit difficult. It's probably gonna take a little bit longer. So I just thought I'd let you guys know. Please use this one. Don't use this one because most of the time what's gonna happen is it's gonna plop, and you're gonna spend like 10 minutes cleaning up the quinoa from the sink, and because it plopped and this wasn't enough to catch it, as opposed to this was enough to catch it. So I'm gonna start washing this quinoa, and then I will see you at the stove. Okay, so I thought I'd just do a little walkthrough. I know I said I'd see you at the stove, but you're seeing me now. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a walkthrough for the first wash, and then for the rest of the wash, like the other 2 washes, I'll just do it like a time lapse. So if I put some water in here. Now you don't want to do too much water because you don't want to waste any water, but at the same time you want to make sure that your water covers the quinoa. So I'm gonna try my best to make it so that you guys can see it. Hopefully you can see it. I am filming by myself today, so I can't really see. Let me just quickly check. Oh, okay. So if it doesn't. You can't really see it, can you? But let me move my hand. Maybe that'll work. So you wanna. I'll just tell you because otherwise I'm gonna be like straining my hand. That's not gonna be good. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have like a good couple of centimeters above my where my quinoa is sitting, and then I want to just mix it just a couple of times. You don't want to like rub it or anything. Just kind of stir it a little bit. You can use your hands as long as you wash them, but you are washing the quinoa anyway. So as long as you wash your hands, you can definitely stir this with your hands, especially if you're just making this quinoa real quick. It takes barely any time, and it's so quick to make this, you guys. It's so quick. What I was saying was, I lost my train of thought there, but you just want to stir it. You can use a spoon to stir it if you like, but hands is it's easier. So now that I've just used my hands and stirred it a couple of times, me and my family, we love to save any gray water, which is what we call it, which is just dirty water from washing vegetables or quinoa or lentils. We like to save that water and then give it to our plants because that water is safe for plants because it's really just dirty water. So we got this pot over here and I'm just gonna put it down here. And I also recommend saving the water because even if you have like low potted plants, you can still inside you can still put the water that you get from this in there instead of wasting the water. You can help your plants grow. Of course, if your plants don't need any water, I wouldn't recommend putting water in there because otherwise they might you might overwater them. So you don't want to do that. But if you have plants that might need water and you're making some quinoa, give the water to your plants because you're saving some water. You're saving the environment. So I'm just gonna strain this, and I'll see if I can get this. Yeah, you see that plop? Sometimes that plop will be even bigger, where it just like plops and you cannot. And with a small strainer, you cannot do anything about that. I'll do a little instant replay just so you guys can see that, and why it's a lot better to use the big column or the big strainer. Even if you have like a steady hand, it's good to use the big one. And then a lot of times with the big one, when I first started using the big one, because I would actually use this small one, because I found it easier to get this leftover quinoa out. So if you have a really good hardy strainer, you can do this. But if you have kind of like a plastic, I don't think there's any plastic ones, but if, let's say, you know that it can break, I wouldn't recommend doing this just because if you hit it too hard, I don't know, that might not be good. So what I do is just a little sound warning. I don't know if it's going to pick up the sound, but okay, that was a little odd, but I just hit it like that. I just like make sure that I bang it not too hard, but not too soft where it takes me forever to get the quinoa off. So I just go like that, and most of the time, all of the quinoa comes off. So I'm gonna wash it a couple more times, do a little time lapse, and then definitely now I will see you at the stove. Okay, I know I said that we were going to go over to the stove, but there is one more thing that we have to do before going over to the stove. Now, we can't just have this kind of just no watered quinoa sitting here on the stove. That's going to, I don't even know what that's going to do. Probably just burn the quinoa, not too much. You gotta put some water in there. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 1.5, which is 3, because I think I explained that earlier. But yeah, I like to just that was a spin there. I like to just kind of wash out my cup just because if the quinoa has any dirt in it, I don't really want dirty water in here when I cook it. So I want to make sure that I wash this out. I mean, it's my personal preference. You don't really have to do it because most likely there's not going to be that much dirt, but I like to do it just in case, and that's just for safety. So I'm gonna measure, I'm just gonna let this fill up. I'm gonna measure 3 cups of water and put it in here, and then this time for sure I will definitely see you at the stove. Okay, so I'm now at the stove, and I'm just gonna put this on here. I'm now at the stove. I promise you, I'm staying at the stove for a little bit. So I'm gonna grab a little lid here. So I'm gonna just go over here. I am most likely off camera. Also, that's my mom's starter for bread. So that's gonna stay there because I don't want to mess up her starter because I love the bread. And now that it is winter, we can finally make bread. I'll probably do a couple videos on that. One, probably just film my mom making the bread and do like a voiceover of what she's doing. And then another one, have her teach me how to make the bread because I've mixed the flour, but I don't necessarily know how to make the bread. Like, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat on high. So our high for our stove is pretty high. But I'm going to turn it on high, put the lid on, and when I hear it starts to, when it starts to boil, when I hear like the boil sound where you hear like with the bubbles rising and popping, then I'm going to turn the heat to low. So I want to keep an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't boil over because that will happen. So keep an eye on it. When it starts to boil, turn it to low. And then you'll be able to tell when I'll be like done cooking. I'll show you guys when it's done cooking, so that way you have an idea. All the water will be gone and it will be kind of almost like, let me think of like an example. Almost like mashed potatoes. Almost like that, a little bit like that. But with quinoa, and you don't mash it. So this is just so easy to do. I'm a talker. I might even just like be sitting here talking this whole time and then it starts to boil. I don't think that's gonna happen. Hopefully that's not gonna happen. Hopefully I don't talk too much with you guys, but we're gonna let this boil and I'll come back and I'm also gonna keep an eye on it, and then I'll turn it to low. I'll show you guys when I turn it to low, and then I'll show you guys when it's about done. Now, of course, the pot is still gonna be hot, and the quinoa might still cook a little afterwards, so you gotta keep in mind with that, because you don't want it raw, but at the same time, you don't want it like burn on the bottom. So I'll show you guys when it's done what it's gonna look like and when you should turn the heat off. So I will see you then. Also, for a mental note, it usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes to boil. So, like I said, I will see you then. Okay, so it is now boiling, and I'm just gonna open up the lid to check, and it almost boiled over. So, I'm gonna lower it to low now. I actually kind of forgot about it, not following my own words, but you want to make sure that you keep an eye on it, and make sure that it doesn't boil over. It was very close to boiling over. I came at the right time, but I've just turned the heat to low. It looks a little like an ant nest, if you know what I mean, like a hole with like a bunch of hills, like a bunch of hills with a bunch of tiny hills with holes in them. So I'm gonna leave the lid on, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna just get the quinoa off the sides of the pot, just so that way they don't just stay there forever. So I'm gonna grab a bowl real quick. Got it. And I'm just gonna scrape this inside here because otherwise this is gonna just stick on there and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard washing it. So this is much better. So that way it's not just caked on the sides. I'm gonna give it a little stir just to see how it's doing. Okay. It's not done. I can tell it's not done because you can kind of see the little bits of quinoa. You can definitely tell it's not done when you see the full circles of quinoa. So you want to make sure that the full circles of quinoa are not there and that there's no water left to make sure that it's done. But like I said, I'll show you. I think I'll show you right now how it looks, and then I'll see if I can do a little before and after. So here, using my makeshift tripod here, and then once it's done, I'll do a before and after with this little clip. So this is the kind of the before. You can still see the little quinoa bits. I think you see those like circles. So you shouldn't be seeing the circles when it's done. So this is the finished quinoa. You can see that I've just turned the heat off just because I don't want it to burn. You can see that you can't really see any quinoa circles, and that please trust me, there is no water left. I am like on an edge here. I can't even like stir it, but I'm just gonna let it cool, and then it's gonna be time for the taste test. So there's no water, you can't see any quinoa circles. That means it's done. So I will see you when it's time for the taste test. Okay, so I'm doing some self-improvising here because my makeshift tripod didn't work too good in the end, so apologies for that, but you can still see the taste test. So I've got the quinoa here, and here it is. And then I'm gonna grab a bowl, pour myself some quinoa, and then you will kind of see a little bit of a, I'll try to keep the camera not so you're like just seeing my face. I'll try to keep it where it looks okay. You can get a 360 view. Don't get dizzy though. But yeah, I'm gonna pour myself some quinoa off camera because otherwise it's gonna be really difficult. Actually, hold on here. Okay, here we go. Makeshift. I apologize so much, but I got my bowl right here. And when you're taking it off the pot, now most pots have a handle, but our pot lid, like the handle kind of fell off. So if you pick it up from here, it's still a lot of times it'll be really hot. So you want to make sure, because knobs can get hot too. So you want to make sure that if you don't have a knob, or if your knob gets hot, that you have a nice cloth to pick it up with, so that way you don't burn yourself. So I'm going to pour myself some quinoa, do a little time lapse of that, and then I shall see you when I'm getting ready to eat some. Okay, so I've now got a spoon for getting ready to eat it, and then I've got some salt because quinoa has a taste, but I prefer it with some salt on. You can add some pepper if you like, but I'm just gonna add some salt, and then we're gonna get ready to try it here. So this is just some Himalayan salt that I'm putting on, and then I'm gonna mix it nice and well. Make sure there aren't like any salt clumps or anything. And I'll kind of try to show you guys. Like if I tilt it halfway, it doesn't look like that on the camera. This is a little annoying. Like right now, it's probably at like a 45-degree angle, and you can't even see it like too well. But do my best here. So you can kind of see what I mean with the mashed potatoes. It's a little bit mushy. After you store it in the fridge, it doesn't really stay mushy, especially when you put it in the microwave. But when you make it nice and fresh, and this video might be a little bit longer than it actually takes to make the quinoa, just because I talk a lot, and I'm showing you guys how to do it rather than just making it. So it's a little bit of a mashed potato concept, and it looks super amazing, super yummy. super delicious. So we're gonna head over to the dining room table, and then it's time to try our quinoa. Okay, so I'm now at the table, and I've got my quinoa, and we're gonna try it finally. Yummy, quickly. So just get a good amount on my spoon here. Good. It's good. Perfect amount of salt. Cooked, perfect amount. I really like it. Nice and smooth. Ah, it just tastes so good. But that's really all there is to making quinoa. I know I say this in a lot of my videos that it's super easy, super quick. I do like to make videos about things that are super easy and super quick because I want you guys to be able to cook quickly and easily and learn cooking the right way. So here is our quick and easy quinoa. Like it's really it's like one of the most quicks and easies video out of all my videos where I say it's quick and easy. But really, I promise you this is really quick and easy. So I thought I'd just let you guys know why I really created this channel, because I love kind of talking to people, and especially when I'm cooking, I just love kind of doing like almost like a self-tutorial to my mind. Okay, so I'm opening this Post-it book and I'm gonna write in here. I love cooking, and I've always kind of like dreamed of having a cooking channel. So here I am right now, and we started this channel, I'm gonna say in like February-ish, March-ish. So we're almost to a 1-year anniversary. I am gonna be making either like cupcakes or a cake for that, or I might do like a reacting to old videos video. So we'll see. I'll decide soon. But I will see. You should definitely check that video when it comes out, because I cannot believe we have been going for almost a year. Like, just in October, I started doing like videos almost every week. That's kind of my goal. Okay, do videos every week. At least once every week, because then I can build up the content. But we have been going for almost a year, which is really exciting. So this is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to try it at home. Like I said earlier, I always say most of the time that these recipes are quick and easy to make and really delicious. This one, I promise you, it's definitely quick and it's definitely easy. And I love to, like I said earlier, I love to show you guys really just quick and easy recipes. Sometimes they'll be a little bit more advanced if you've been cooking a little bit longer. So I'll do some advanced ones, do some easy ones, because I think that you guys should know how to cook quick and easy things, because it's good to be able to cook a meal that's quick and easy at the same time, and it's still delicious. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new to the channel or have not done so, please like and subscribe, as I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time.